This is a Nate the Great recording, okay? And what you're going to listen to here and have visual of is that of the Hidden Colors 2. This will be that of Hidden Colors 2, okay? I want you to get a mental projection of this. Have it inscript upon your imagination.
Scholars and scientists have been having conferences about melanin, to my awareness, at least since the 1920s.
The pineal glands of most of our white brothers and sisters are calcified, and so they make less melanin. And that comes from the historical relationship to what we call the Permian Ice Age, that 10,000 years of glacial freezing that happened in Europe after the Africans who were the Grimaldi moved up there. And so it became the survival of the fittest. Who was able to adapt could survive. Who wasn't able to adapt died. So those people who were able to get rid of their melanin was able to survive. Those who could not get rid of the melanin, they died.
These scientists said that the pineal gland, they refer to the pineal gland as a vestigial organ. That is a calcified gland within the body that serves no purpose. As if the creator would create something that you didn't need. And it was only after the Vietnam War, in the late 60s and early 70s, they began to rewrite the interpretation of the pineal gland. The reason for that was that a large number of African Americans fought and died during the Vietnam War. And whenever a soldier dies, there's an autopsy that's performed before their body is sent back to Dover Air Force Base. And what they discovered, what these physicians discovered, is that when they performed the autopsies, the 75 to 80% of the African American soldiers had a large functioning pineal gland. The pineal gland is normally about the size of your thumb. So it was not a vestigial organ in 70 to 80% of African Americans, but it is a calcified organ in 75 to 80% of people with European ancestry. So they began to reevaluate the pineal gland. They began to reevaluate melanin.
I think if you talk to Dr. Weldon, she'll tell you this is about genetic annihilation or genetic survival, okay? It's about genetics. Who will survive America? Who will survive the world? Whose genetics will hold up? What is going to be the genetic or the genotype that's on the planet 1,000 years from now?
Okay, so let's weigh in on this a little bit, now that we heard a little bit about the melanin. Now, this information isn't for everybody, so this is not something where you should run around and start discussing it. This is power because it's information and knowledge, and they always told you that knowledge is power. So don't go giving your power away. You just take what you're going to understand from this mathematics and science that you're viewing here and equip it in your spell bag, in your arsenal, so that you could be able to work your magic. You see? So this is why it's important that you understand why that there's a big idea to vaccinate people. This is deemed to the people that know better as nothing other than the hot sauce. And the hot sauce is going to destroy your sauce. And what is your sauce? The fluids and the liquid that governs the vehicle. Check? You see? So naturally, if we was to go back and listen to this information, And if I was to have an adversary, someone who wishes for me to not to express my powers to the fullest, then surely they're going to need this so that they can remedy up any potency that may have an effect to make me void, check, and non-existence in that of thereof. Follow me.
White, will it be brown, will it be black? And so you find that the elements of the human family that find themselves suffering from the ecology that we're in, they're struggling to survive.
You're not human. There's only certain type of people that is of human, and that's the people with the DNA. If you are a cosmic being, you are that of the DEA. You don't share in that of the DNA. We have to be taught and learned correctly so that we don't be deceived and fooled by the adversary. And I don't mean adversary as in a way of somebody hates you, although there is such of an existence, keeping it real. But I want to talk about and mean all aspects of adversary. Even the so-called energy that just feels though I may be too powerful and I may not need to be around. But yet, that's a good relatively person or being. It can exist somewhere else, but it just won't exist here. That type, that's still an adversary. It may not be a strong adversary where, to the degree of what an individual may deem as something threatening. And this realm, here on this plane net, this is the way that the ball bounces, at least for now. Stop telling people or denying yourself that there's racism. Is there hatred and prejudice of racism? Sure it is. Yes it is. This scheme of thing wouldn't exist if it wasn't.
Cells. All nations, European nations and America, white Americans, are at minus birth rate, right?
You see?
Not zero birth rate, but they're keeping up with the natural death. They're at minus birth rate. And so that's why there's so much emphasis on artificial birth creation and other ways to have babies and make babies that are beyond the normal. And you'll also find that this adopting black babies, the Haiti thing, getting the children out of Central African Republic and Chad, adopting Filipino babies, Latino babies by the white community on such a high level history and use their gene pool with the melanin.
So there's power in the blood. Ask the Christians. They might not say it's your blood, but they know if you just make mention of that, it's going to ring a bell in their head and an image is going to come to their mind. I'm telling you, you want to reverse that. Flip that. Steal that idea. Lay hold of that. Grab that. Be that. Check.
A few years ago, the president of Chad, a man by the name of Idris Deby, he had a group of French charity workers arrested after it was found out that they were kidnapping children from that area. Now, Deby accused them of stealing the children from their parents and planning to sell the children to pedophile rings up in Europe. He also accused them of possibly planning to kill the children to sell their organs. Now, this is the president of Chad saying this, and this was a big scandal with the Chadian government. Planning to kill the children to sell their organs.
What's that? Is that 6 and 7? Okay. Keep your eye open.
This is the president of Chad saying this, and this was a big scandal with the Chadian government and the French government. So we need to understand everything that's going on with people going to...
Why are we blurring out these faces? That's a red flag in my mind, but let's keep moving. Pay attention. Stay focused.
Trying to get these children about it.
Who that? Look at this, y'all. Look at the symbolism in his chair. Huh? You see? Pope to fight sex terrorism and organ trafficking. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, Pope. Damn, I don't know how such a being ever get himself in that type of situation. Make it pop.
There's a war being waged on melanated people.
I say it is.
Melanated people, people of color. There's a war being waged on melanated people. And melanated people, people of color.
And I don't know why you don't want to think that, people. I ain't asked you to believe in it. I'm asking you to open your eye. And thus far, what you've seen and added up to what's going on today, I want you to talk light to me or dark. It don't matter. Huh? This is 2012 video we watching right here. That I possess. This ain't coming off, this ain't stripped off the internet or from Universal Records and all that. This can't be copied stricken. I'm running this shit right here. I'm the one that saved up this information because I knew the time would come where you're gonna need this. So you're gonna need to pay attention.
Is that a war?
Okay?
There's a war being waged on melanated people, and melanated people, people of color, should realize that a war is going on. A lot of melanated people do not realize that this war is going on. There's a war being waged on melanated people, and melanated
I hate to keep beating this in
people
our
of
head,
color
but we
should
gotta
realize
wake
that a war
up.
is going on. A lot of melanated people do not realize that this war is going on.
I wonder why. Is it because of Mr. Biden? Huh? He making you feel inadequate about your blackness?
This war is going on the educational front. There's a spiritual warfare. And this war is going on the educational front. There's a spiritual warfare. There's a medical warfare. There's a prison industrial warfare. And there's an economic warfare.
Okay. That's enough for now. Stay tuned, right? And most important, stay tuned in. I'm out of here.